Howdy ladies and gentlemen, today you will learn how to create this amazing text effect, very simple and quick to make your text pop out even more. So let's get started. For this text effect, there are two ways to create it, a destructive way and non-destructive. Basically, the non-destructive is if you want to create a very quick text effect and you sure that the client or even yourself don't need to change the color in the future. Basically, you just create a new layer, click on that layer, right click, and create a clipping mask or Alt Control and G. Choose your brush tool. It's on there. When you see this plus icon in the middle and you cannot see the actual brush size, that means your caps lock is on. So see, by clicking it on and off, it will appear again. So choose your color, dark, let's say just simple black, and start shading. So this is the destructive way of creating this effect, but today we'll do it in a more professional way. So if the client changes their mind, you can change it accordingly. So first thing first is to, let's say you have only a text, very simple text over here, caps lock on. If you're wondering, my font is Oswald. It's my own brand. It's for my own brand. Very cool font over here. So many weights to choose from. Extra light. I don't like the light version of it, so we're gonna stick to the bold over here. And this effect usually works better on a font or typeface that has a wider shape to it. So above your text layer, click on this icon over here to create a solid color layer. It fills up the whole screen. Choose your color. It doesn't matter. You can change it in the future. It doesn't matter right now. Choose a color of your choosing and choose your mask over here and hit Control plus Backspace. Control and Backspace will automatically fill the layer with your foreground color. If I hit Alt plus Backspace, it will fill it with my background layer or background color right over here. So clear it out, completely black over here. So you can, I think if you create the clipping mask over here, it is better just for the ease of use. So zoom in. You can do this by two methods. First one is the lasso tool. Hit L on your keyboard or pick it from the toolbar if you're a madman. L from the keyboard or via the pen tool. Pen tool has more flexibility, like actual flexibility. If your kerning or the shape of your letters have too many curvatures within the words, within the letters themselves. So choose the pen tool, and I will create another video in the future to completely showcase the usage of pen tool. And it is actually easy. First time I used this, I think was around 7 or 9 years ago. It was a little bit scary to begin working with pen tool, but it is fairly easy. So zoom in, press Alt and scroll wheel over here, zoom in, click a point over here. So for this type of shadowing is I don't know if it's used in the American style calligraphy, but in the Persian calligraphy there are a lot of shadowing around inside the letters themselves. So to make this design actually work and make it a little bit more coherent, you need to follow the shape or the curvature of the shape of the letters themselves. So for instance, here I can make these two overlap in a three-dimensional space by actually not doing anything in 3D. So let's imagine this slanted bar over here is crossing this one over here. So follow the angle of this one, choose it from the a little bit upper point, let's say over here, so you can follow the angle of the slant. Bring it down and match the match the angle and click over here. So go up, and select a good big area so you can actually move your cursor around. And now, this is a open path. Not open, is actually closed, but it is still editable. So you can click it entirely, or Control Z, or you can click Control and click on one single point, so you can change it accordingly. Alright, so I don't need that now. But to change this to a selection, because if I now start painting and drawing, it will not work. So I need to change this to a selection. Choose P or pen tool, P on keyboard, right click and make selection. It will ask you if you wanted to make this a new standalone selection, or add it, or subtract it, or intersect it, which will divide the sides that are interlaced together. Anti-aliased, alright, doesn't matter. Anti-aliased, okay. 0 points for feather, click OK. It is now a selection, so we can work on it. Another shortcut for this is Control, Shift, and Enter. Remember, Control, Shift, and Enter. It will turn it into a workable selection. Now, remember we are on a layer mask. So if you want to add the color, you gotta paint in white. If you want to remove the colors or anything around here, we need to paint it with black. Now I want to add, so I will choose white. Hit B if you are not, check again if you are on the mask or not. Now start drawing. For a better result, if you don't have a XP Pen tablet, or I forgot what's the other brand's name, opacity, bring it down to 80 and flow to 20. This is a good threshold for working and making sure you're not, because if you put these two parameters on 100%, just be pure black, you have no control over this except for the hardness or the size of the brush. So Control Z over here, opacity lowered, and flow, let's say to 20, 15 maybe. It will be much more gradual effect than the original settings over here. So I don't need it actually over here. So I want to create a shadow over here, as if this guy is overlapping this little bar over here. So actually I need to invert my selection, because I want my drawing to pop in this area, because if I draw right now it will be on this side. So to do this, you can do it in a couple of ways. First one, if you are a newer version of Photoshop, you can click this icon over here. It will invert it immediately. Or you can go to Select, Inverse, Control or Shift, Control, and I. You can do that. But if you are a newer version, just use this little icon over here. So now imagine this little bar over here is on this one. How it will cast a shadow. First of all, you don't really need to choose your angle of light. We're not doing that today. Just want to showcase how this effect works, so you can change it accordingly on depending on your own design. So you can choose that all the lights are coming from the left, so the shadows must go to the right. Now start drawing and start a little bit further away. Don't worry about this, we're going to delete this layer. Start drawing very slowly. And to create the effect that these two bars are reaching this point together, like they are kind of becoming a one single part over here, you need to make this area less darker. So if you want to create a illusion that these two bars are connected from this point, you should not add any shadows over here, because this shadow creates separation. So gradually stop around this area to create the effect that this is like a tear, let's say, and they are farther away from each other at this point, and they are closer to here, closer together in this area. Just start drawing. And I want to show you something else. Let's say you draw like this. If you want to create the illusion that these two parts are connected in this area, don't just start wiping like this. This is wrong. You need to create a angled fade. So just like this, just like that. And now I am erasing it. Or you can just draw in black, or eraser tool will work, because I'm actually erasing the white parts that I painted over here. Make it more gradual. Now add a little bit more shadow over here. So let's say you have a very soft shadow, or very soft light effect, which creates soft shadows. You need to make this a little bit bigger and add in more ambient shadows, kind of like not the effect of like global illuminations. This is a global shadow, just something I created 2 seconds ago. Let's do this. And if you see a hard light over here, as I said a couple of seconds ago, fade it out. Fade it out smooth. Alright, sorry Photoshop. Photoshop panics so quickly, dude. Alright, we created our first contact point. So the contact point is from here and down. So these two, we created the illusion that these two parts are connected in here. Alright, now for the rest of the shadows, we just select it and delete it. Or we can select it in a better way for the next time. So another thing we can do over here is we can use the lasso tool if you're not comfortable with the pen tool. Click around, keep the distances equal as much as you can, because selecting this whole text over here, like if I select this and I try to contract the selection size, it will create a weird effect. So let's say I want to contract this by, let's say, 10 pixels. So 5 pixels, I think I don't know how does this calculates it. Is either 5 on each side or 10 on each side. So it looks like 5, I guess, I don't know. So on hard corners like this one, which has a very sharp turn over here, it creates this weird effect. Even if we went to the minimum and maximum part of the filter, it does the same thing again. So the best thing is you do this manually. So again, check you are on the mask layer, click on a similar distance that you want to create on this one, or you can do another design like this. Follow the angle of this bar, so like this, I guess. Alright, 5 pixels. Hold shift so you can move on a certain angle. It is divided by 45 degrees, so we're just turning around on a very locked in angle. So this is 180 or 0. So I'm going to move it over here, go back a little bit, go down, and just connect it over here. So now, as before, click your brush tool. Where is it? Click your brush tool or B on keyboard and start drawing. This side effect, side profile, I think, is just for us to not needing to calculate this distance over here. It will make the workflow a little bit more faster and a little bit easier for us. Just like that. It doesn't need to follow the entire thing, or at that point we can add a layer style of inner shadow. Doesn't need. This is more a calligraphy, Persian calligraphy style effect over here. So I'm gonna do the rest now very quickly. As I said before, follow the angle. Try to match this distance over here so it is the same width as the icon of my lasso tool. So I'm guessing over here. Now bring it downwards and select it. Press B on keyboard to bring up the brush tool. Check again if you are on the mask layer. Check your foreground color and start drawing. And if you're wondering why this is white and I'm painting in black, I am adding the color via the mask. This exists, it's just not visible. And painting white on a black mask makes the area visible again. And as I said before, a gradual fade to create a contact point over here. Beautiful. So this was only for the sharp edges. Now a curvature. This is a little bit more challenging. We need the pen tool over here. So press P on your keyboard, and as I said, to make this a coherent design and make it more visually pleasing, we need to follow the curvature. And when you zoom in on a curvature, you can actually see a straight line over here and a straight line over here. This is the middle, this is the end. So we need to follow this curvature over here. Always start from these straight points over here. Now, this is the end of this semicircle, let's call this. Yeah, Roman semicircle. Click over here, zoom out, and choose a point you want your shadow to reach. Alright, this is, your mileage may vary. You might have a different letter than I have, or a different type of shadow, type of maybe logo you are trying to make with this shadowy effect, and that will be in Illustrator. Maybe I will make it, I don't know, I'm just starting on Photoshop these tutorials, but remember, your mileage may vary. I'm just giving you your basic information on how to do this so you can create your own designs. So I'm liking this amount of distance, a little kind of like this one a little bit. This much distance, I mean. So let's start over here. Now, hold shift. Holding shift will lock this on an angle just like the lasso tool. So if we're going 0 or 180 degrees, too much. I need to zoom out. Alright, holding shift again and Control Z. This much distance, and match the curvature of your path to the curvature of the letter or your design. That's it. Bring it over here and click OK. And to create this selection, either right click on making selection or just press Control Shift and Enter. If you did this and the selection was inverted, you need to choose the type of the component path over here. So maybe it was on subtract or exclude, maybe it will not show up at all, I think. Put this on combine, so if you needed to add another selection with this, by pressing Control Shift and Enter, it will add it again. So remember this option, combine shapes. Thank you, Control Z. Now, press B on the keyboard, check if you are on the mask, check the color background, color foreground, and start drawing. And when the 2 points are colliding or connecting to each other and the shadow starts from there and out, you need to make this place darker than the other areas. Just look at your hand on a table. The closer the contact point is, the darker the shadow will be. And start drawing. A little bit too much. And fade out the end, because this harsh line over here is not very beautiful for a design. Now, top part over, lower part. Let's start again. Press P. Check for your straight line over here. Click it. And click again. Hold Shift. Bring it out. So if this happens over here, that means this little oh, I forgot what they call it. This little lever over here doesn't have enough leverage to create the curvature that is over here. So click as usual. Alright, connect the path, and remember this path is still editable. So you can add another point over here. It will make the curvature a little bit funky, but you can match it easily. You can add a little bit less curvature over here, and they are connected, just like that. I'm gonna move this a little bit over here so it doesn't leave a line over here. That's why I'm moving it. I'm gonna fine tune this a little bit, and it is exactly on the curvature over here. This start point is really important. So Control Shift and Enter and B on the keyboard and start drawing again. Alright, now next one. So I want a shadow coming from here all the way up top. How I do this? Let's go from here and upwards. So let's do this from here. My straight point will be here then. Alright, start. Oh, a little zooming out and start holding Shift and matching my starting curvature and Shift again to finish this selection. Zoom in. Oh, it's not inside of it, so perfect. Control Shift and Enter and start drawing. You can make this like the W over here. Perfect. I'm gonna finish these real quick. Alright, all finished. Now, a cool effect you can create with this, I need to choose a different color for this. No, it doesn't need. So the effect I was going to tell you is using gradient maps to change all of the shadings over here. So for now, let me group this two layers to each other and create a new layer. Press this icon over here and go all the way down to gradient map. So actually we don't need the layer actually. And to remove this effect from all over the place, just create a clipping mask by clicking this option over here and choose your colors. So I have a couple of different colors over here, but the boy gradient maps, I will find the link if I could, and I will link it down below. It is a very beautiful selection of gradients over here. So you can change all of these shadings based on these gradients over here. As you can see, as the lighter our shadows get, the color pop in more. If I reverse this, what will happen? Not much. So if you want to create your own gradient map, just choose a normal gradient over here, let's say this one, and choose your background color as this was in reversed. So, oh, it's not reversed. So again, choose a random gradient. So you have your lighter colors over here. So pick this as white, so our text become white, and add in your own color shadows. Let's say green for now, very bright green. Move it towards the right so it will have a sharper effect. Add in another color. What goes good with green? Red or purple? Let's say purple for now. And another color. Blue. Blue looks good. I want a darker blue. So black needs to stay over here. And I can add more colors to here. Let's say red. There's a beautiful red. So click and drag, give it some space to breathe. I mean, this looks janky, but you get the general idea on how to do this. And this is using gradient map editor. You can change and add shapes. In the previous version of Photoshop, you just drag this down. Oh, I guess it's back. Oh my god. Swear to God, dude, I tested this like 10,000 times. It didn't work in the 2025 version. So if you want to quickly delete it, despite this icon being here, just drag them down. So, and I cannot control Z. Alright, I'm going to give it black, and you can change the threshold over here by clicking this. how further apart. Oh my god, dude. Swear to God, I'm a good teacher. Just Photoshop not cooperating. Can change the threshold over here, and we are done. This is a tutorial on shadowing and how to create a 3D effect on a 2D object, creating depth any style that you like. For instance, let me change this one over here really quick for you. This is a ending tip for our session today. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Don't worry, don't worry. Things happen. Alright. A different method, a different way we can do this is to curve it all the way over here. So start on a straight point, Control Shift, and a little bit higher, I guess it would be better on the left, and move this toward the outside and following the curvature. So this will be good for now. Okay, oopsie. Hold on. Bear with me, people. And turn it into a selection. Check the mask, click B, and start drawing. This will actually fade in outside of your design or any text or shape layer that you have. Yeah, you can make cool stuff with it. Kind of looks like that this part is inserting itself behind this, I think. It's a cool visual effect. You can do it very easily. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and I hope that you learned something new today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Have a pleasant evening, and goodbye.